Hi there, quick question. Is it worth it for a member of the Yogscast to be in episodes of TTT? For those of you who don't know, the Yogscast is sort of a network of people who play video games on the internet and make money out of it. 21st century. Essentially, they're a big network, and part of what they do is they have a big hub channel which highlights talent from all over the network. And part of this is episodes of a program where they play TTT, which is a computer game, which doesn't always look like this, but at the moment does. And they've got 7 people in showcasing talent from across the network. But is it worth their time? To be honest, I thought this was one of those questions that was going to float around my head occasionally, and I'd never have an answer because why would I find an answer? It's clearly a waste of time. But I recently found out that TTT is on IMDb. And because of that, we have a list. How reliable that list is, I don't know, but we have it, of how many episodes people have been in. So I soaked that up. I used this to work out who's currently a member, so we're not including former members in this. From the subreddit, they've got this doodah that tells you who's currently in it. Again, don't know how reliable that is, but it's what I've used. And I got them all into I definitely meant to tidy this up before showing it, but hey ho, I got this into this little table here, which shows who they are, how many episodes of TTT they've in, YouTube channels, ignore that, Twitch followers. So I've then made a model in R, which is what we're looking at, to predict how many episodes of TTT could predict how many Twitch followers someone had. And this came up with a little model which says that to be a part of this group, you start with 91,374 Twitch followers. Pretty good. However, I'm afraid for every episode of TTT you appear in, you lose 123 followers. That doesn't sound right to me. You'd think they would have noticed by now if appearing in this show just ended your career. So let's have a look. This is the model that we've made here. I'll start gesturing with a mouse. And there is, a downward trend. These numbers are below probably the average of these numbers. It looks right. It looks like it does, in the most generous of senses, fit the data. It still doesn't feel right to me. So let's do a more complicated regression. Let's, rather than making a linear line, let's make a line that curves a bit. So we can see if there's... Okay. There's definitely something going on here. There's a big upswing, which then turns down. I guess that does make some sense when you think about it. These people might have oversaturated themselves, so everyone's seen what they want to see of them. Or they may have dedicated so much time towards supporting the hub channel, the main channel, that they don't have the time to build up themselves. Particularly, I think it's Ben on the end there. Yeah, Ben on the end here has only recently joined Twitch, so perhaps he's not really a fair person to use in this thing. Almost certainly, he's not a fair person, but we have used him. So what are we going to do? Well, I think we ignore everything at this end. There's very few people there, and yet there's a downward trend, so maybe at some point you need to stop, you need to start doing your own thing. Let's get rid of them. Let's get rid of everyone with less than 100 episodes of TTD. That's what this line of code is doing. And let's go to Sips. Just don't like the guy. I mean, he's up here. He's way up here, out of line with everyone else. Clearly, he's an outlier. He's possibly part of a different population, not representative of the Yogscast as a whole, to use more kind language. I do like the guy. Don't. He's the real guy, the best guy. I know. And yeah, so let's make a line of our new graph, of our new data set, and put a linear regression on there to see what's going on. And here we are we're going uphill, so that's good. Interesting that there's not. Seems like most of the people are outside of our greyed area here, which implies they are quite a long way from our prediction. And there's some interesting quirks, like the people down here. One of them is Harry, who started Twitch this year, so you'd expect to perhaps not have gained much, and I don't think has appeared in any episodes of TTT since starting his Twitch channel. So, I mean, I probably should get rid of him as well, but to be honest, if I got rid of everyone, I'd get rid of everyone. And there's also Spiff, who is not actually on Twitch, as far as I can tell. He has a channel and 30 odd thousand people follow it, but not actually done, never streamed on it, he's never used it. So if anything, maybe the line should be a little bit higher. But let's have a look at it with a nice summary. Now, this is quite a lot to put on the screen down here, but don't worry about most of it. Don't worry about most of it, because most of it isn't actually relevant, because a lot of it is based on assumptions that don't fit to our model. Our data isn't normal. If your statistics are cool at all, I hope you are, because why are you watching this video if not? But yeah, so we've got a coefficients here and here. The same numbers basically, but different presentation. But this model says that to be in this group of Yogscast members who have appeared in TTT and have Twitch followers, with less than 100 episodes of TTT and aren't SIPs, you start with 16,907, and current members, 16,907 total followers. You start with that, and for every episode of TTT you appear in, you gain 957.8. That seems much better. Maybe you should stop before you hit that 100. Although maybe that number would increase over time, where more episodes, maybe there's less of a cost of being in each episode. Maybe there's no cost at all. In fact, we'll get to that. Because I want to talk about R-squared, adjusted R-squared. So that is essentially a measure of how well our model predicts the variation in the data we see. And according to this, we can predict about 20% of what's going on using our model, which is pretty pants. And I do say predict, not explain. We can't explain that these numbers occur because of attending TTT episodes. They predict, but they don't explain. So we can say there's maybe other stuff going on. There's definitely other stuff going on. Like how entertaining you are, how good your show is on your own channel, which will feed into maybe if you're more entertaining, and maybe if your own show is more good, you're more likely to get invited. I don't know. I'm not a member of the Yogscast. I'm just talking rubbish, be honest. Right. But yeah, that's an important difference between predicting and explaining. But we are able to predict 20%, which is pretty bad, to be honest. If you were doing the weather forecast and you were able to say, we can predict 20% of the weather's variability using our forecast models, I don't think you'd be in the job long. And also, it's not statistically significant, but actually it's not valid to use those tests because non-normalcy. Yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. As for a comparison, the original model we started with has a negative R-squared, adjusted R-squared, which I didn't actually know was possible, which essentially means we predict nothing. We predict nothing using our original model. So we've improved 20 percentage points. Pretty good. So yeah, that's my ramble about whether Yogscast members should be in TTT. Cheers. See you later.